Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
West Georgia's go-to show for all things sports.
From the best interviews in college radio.
Hey, this is Coach Joel Taylor, head football coach here at the University of West Georgia.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff Bacon, Atlantic Sun Conference Commissioner.
To the hottest takes around.
I wholeheartedly believe that behind Sean Payton and a second-year Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos can dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs and be the AFC West champions.
I mean, plain and simple, the worst decision Kalen DeBoer has ever made is taking the head coaching position at Alabama.
We've got all you need and more right here on Sports Pack.
The Wolves play here.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to our first of the semester, actually, Monday edition of Sports Pack. I am your host, Richard Reed, joined by my guy, John Halley, who is killing it, as always, on the board. Jackson Schrader making his Sports Pack debut for this semester. How you feeling,
back.
Jackson?
Oh, dude, I'm feeling like $1 million.
I bet you are. We know you were going to war with your toilet all day Thursday, but we're happy to have you back.
Thursday, that was a war zone. Let me tell you something.
The battle of the porcelain throne, and making her debut as a full-time member of Sports Pack, my dog Cadence Grievin. Cadence, how's it feel?
It's exciting. I'm nervous.
We're going to have a lot of fun today. We got a jam-packed show. We're going to get into some UWG athletics, talk about this insane college football season that is proving people like myself correct, that this is going to be one of the most unpredictable college football seasons of all time. Get into this big-time NFL weekend. I know y'all see the title of the show. The Atlanta Falcons have a pass rush. We got a heck of a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we jump into it, I got to remind you all that every Wednesday is Fried Chicken Wednesday at West Commons. Faculty and staff can now get their own meal plans by visiting westga.edu/dinewest. That is westga.edu/dinewest. Follow at UWG_Dine_West on Instagram for more information on special events and deals.
And don't forget that Westwoods has a new resident pool and is now accepting all applicants. More information is located at livewestwoods.com.
Widener rolls to the right. He's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it, and it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
Let me just say, this has already been an insane football season in many fronts, but Saturday was something special. Football in the state of Georgia was elite on Saturday.
Unbelievable.
The Georgia Bulldogs did what they did, surviving against the Tennessee Volunteers.
Not too much.
Yeah, that's right. You are a Tennessee fan. Well, you're lucky because we're going to get into that a little bit later once you're already out of here. But there's another crazy game. Right here in the city of dreams, Carrollton, Georgia, the West Georgia Wolves winning with 15 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to come back and defeat the East Tennessee State Buccaneers 35-31. The environment was incredible. Probably the most packed out home opener I've ever seen in my 4 years here at the University of West Georgia. And luckily, all four of us at this table were here to experience it. Cadence, I want to start with you first. How did you feel about this week one game day experience here in West Georgia?
So I was actually super excited because my dad came down for the weekend. So it was like all of like my sorority and everything were super excited to like go out and watch like the first home game of the season. The energy was high, vibes were good and everything. And I was just really, really hoping for a win, and us ending up pulling through with that, I think really like sealed the deal for our football season.
The biggest thing for me was the fact that there was a fireworks show after every single touchdown being scored.
Yeah.
Was scared the crap out of me in the first touchdown.
That first one, bro, they needed to tell us. 'Cause that last big pop about made me poop myself.
And the craziest part to me was there were a lot of fireworks going off.
There were.
We scored a lot of touchdowns. Schrader, what did you notice in the game that led to us scoring so many touchdowns and setting off so many fireworks shows?
I mean, we ran a lot of screenplays that really helped us. I mean, Latrell, he's unbelievable, right?
Latrell
I
Morrell's
mean,
a dog.
UAC Conference Player of the Week. I mean, he really put the team on his back there because we had some struggles in the past game, which, like, as great as this game was, I mean, this game, it took a couple of years off my life, but I wouldn't have it any other way because it was so fun. But there's some question marks when it comes to turnovers, and Richard had the privilege of asking Coach Taylor what he thought about those turnovers, and we actually have that sound bit for you right here.
I'll be honest, I think it's decision making. Sometimes, you want to make the splash play. Just make the play you're supposed to make. PYP, play your position, So we got to do a good job of decision making. And every play is not going to be the chunk play, and it doesn't have to be the chunk play. So we just got to do a good job there.
I mean, Coach Taylor's 100% right.
Yep.
Every single play does not have to be the chunk play. And, John, I feel like once Davin Widener really gets that, the sky's the limit for this team.
I mean, the sky's the limit for team, like you just said there. The real thing that I'm kind of realizing is, you are 5-7 on the year so far, Dab. Not you're playing great, but we've given you everything you need. You have the line. You have more time in the pocket. You have the run game that you want. You have weapons. It comes down to you. It's your decision making. Heck, I don't care. We got to do this Cam Newton style and split half the field in practice and have you learn, a cover 3 and a cover 2 difference. It's just because 3 interceptions on that game. As my great roommate Zach said, did we deserve to win that game? No. Do we persevere through that game and absolutely win? Yes, we did. Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't know if we got to do this Cam Newton style and give him half the field after the end of practice, but it's not pretty. But the run game, that is pretty.
And, once again, before we move on, massive kudos to Latrell Morrell. He has been our offensive and maybe even our team MVP so far. Behind this much improved offensive line, he had 116 rushing yards this past game and 92 receiving yards off 3 receptions to go along with 2 receiving touchdowns. Latrell Morrell has been incredible. And like you were saying, John, and like all of us I'm sure agree on, this West Georgia Wolves team is good. In the second half, our defense really locked down, holding the Buccaneers to 1 for 7 on third down. We have the tools around us. The second Davin can get back to playing the football that we got used to seeing him play last year, the sky is the limit for this football team. Now, Cadence, can you tell us a little bit about our other West Georgia sports?
Okay, so across the board, I feel like it's just been really successful for West Georgia. For example, our women's soccer team actually beat High Point 1-0 after losing last year 0-4 to them. Okay. So they held their own pretty well against them. And especially with volleyball, they haven't had the best season so far yet, but we're still starting out, nothing crazy. They were able to finally secure a win against UNCG, and it was a well-fought fight against UNCG, and the Wolves barely scraped by with a win. But they ended up pulling through and succeeding. And also, our women's golf team is currently ranked 3rd right now of 16 teams for the Velvet currently. But that should be it, I think.
I mean, it was a big weekend in West Georgia athletics. The football team's doing what they've been doing, but it seems like our football team's success is starting to light fires on the other teams as well. Yeah. I want to go back to our soccer team because in my time here at West Georgia, our soccer program has never been our strong suit. Never really hung our hats on our soccer team, but we've won 2 of our last 3 games. This upcoming weekend, starting this upcoming Thursday at 7 p.m., they'll be on the road in Jacksonville, taking on the University of North Florida. Then on Sunday, they'll take on Jacksonville University as well. 2 big-time ASUN conference games. Now, Cadence, I want to go back to you here because I know you played soccer for a large portion of your life. What are some things you learned throughout your time playing soccer that you feel could really help benefit this West Georgia Wolves team as they look to improve this record in the conference play?
My biggest thing when I was watching, I think that they were playing their first game against, I think it was Jack State.
Yeah.
It was a loss, ended up being, but like in the beginning, it was just very sloppy. Touches weren't good. Everybody was just fighting. There was not a cohesiveness to it. Like they were just rushing the passes, rushing the balls. The through balls weren't hitting. It was just sloppy, and they were trying to send these through balls that Jack State's defense could read very easily, and it was very noticeable. And I feel like Jack State was able to hold their own with their defense, but our defense was very sloppy, made mistakes, and that's why we ended up losing because of the sloppy mistakes ended up leading to the goals scored against them. So
if they can clean up those things, this kind of thing that can really pay dividends later on the season.
Well, also as well, that game, beginning of the year, we also got 3 injuries in the first half for that. And those 3 really crucial components for the team. So it really sucks losing 3 of your best players, and it's just been really hard. And also don't put me on there at the same time having a camera because right as I put the camera up, we scored 2 goals.
So maybe it's you. Maybe the fact that you haven't been to any more games is our good luck charm.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to go back and take a look at our volleyball team as well. We made brief mention of them a second ago. They will be on the road this weekend, starting off Thursday night, where they will be in Macon, Georgia, taking on the Mercer University Bears. Thursday, September 18th at 6 p.m. They will stay in Mercer for what's called the Mercer Invitational and also play UT Martin on Friday. And then they will end off this weekend playing the University of North Dakota Saturday at 10 a.m. So if you're in the Macon, Georgia area, be sure to make your way out there. Or even if you're not, just down for a road trip, stop at Buc-ee's on the way in, root on our West Georgia Wolves volleyball team, and then Make your way back up here by 6 p.m. on Saturday to cheer on our West Georgia Wolves football team, who will be at home for the second week in a row to take on Eastern Kentucky University. I am super excited for that game. We'll talk a whole lot more about it on Thursday's episode of Sports Pack, so do not miss out. In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign is here to remind you that there is no drinking under the age of 21, to never drink and drive, even if it's only one beer, and to add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex. Trust me, nothing good ever comes of it. So please, pretty please, know your limits.
Hey, and Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We're collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/book drive. That's thewolfuwg.com/book drive.
Now stay tuned because we got a lot more to get into. When we come back from this quick break, we're going to dive into this insane college football weekend and tell you all you need to know going into this upcoming weekend. Stay tuned. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
Hey y'all, it's Schrader. Now don't go anywhere because you're listening to Sports Pack here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Man, this beat brings back memories. Anyways, let me tell you all about this show on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all college basketball, football, and baseball. Fridays at noon. The Playbook, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Playbook Training Camp. Now we throw it down to Joey, who's interviewing head coach Brandon Dyer.
Thanks, JT. I'm here with head coach Brandon Dyer. And Brandon, there have been many reports about starting punter Jackson Voss saying that he peaked in high school. Now, what are your thoughts on how he will perform this semester with the playbook?
Well, Joey, I have full confidence that Jackson Voss will be a breakout star for the playbook this season. And you'll find out Fridays at noon only on Wolf Sports Network.
Step right up, folks. It's season 2 of the Playbook, where we're talking everything college basketball and baseball and...
Wait, Jackson. Dude, it's fall. And just like a playbook, I think we need to call an audible.
Ready? Omaha, hot!
We are talking strictly college football all semester on season 2 of the Playbook, Fridays at noon, only on Wolf Sports Network.
It's time for season 2 of the Playbook, and we're talking all things college football, putting together a better sophomore season than Tim Tebow in 2007.
To the listeners and everybody at Wolf Nation, I promise you one thing. You will never see an on-air personality work as hard as I will for season 2 of the Playbook, and we will make this show better than any college football radio show will ever be for season 2 of the Playbook.
Listen as we fulfill this promise, live, every Friday at noon.
Baby, it's college football time. Give me my theme music. Man, we had a wild college football weekend this past Saturday. We already talked about our West Georgia Wolves and their big-time victory over the what was the name again? The
East
loss
Tennessee.
to the Wolves in a big-time blowout at the very end of the game. Something stupid, I don't remember.
The state of Georgia owns Cade McNamara.
Yeah, I don't know. Cade McNamara,
East Tennessee like a pirate.
That's what I'm saying. What is it? Cade McNamara, Jacoby Brissett, two guys that couldn't handle the big dogs, so they got off the porch, right?
Hey,
Didn't
the
matter.
forward pass is a little scary.
Forward pass is terrifying, especially for Cade McNamara. But there were other big-time games going on as well. The Georgia Bulldogs ended their overtime thriller right around halftime of the West Georgia game, beating the Tennessee Volunteers 44 to 41, in a one overtime thriller. Keyshawn, I want to start with you first. This game was outright incredible. What was something that you noticed about this Georgia Bulldogs team that led to them coming back and getting the victory?
Yeah, the game went exactly how I thought it would go. Tennessee started off extremely good. UJ kind of got off with an iffy start. Gunnar Stockton, he kind of rose up to the occasion slowly throughout the second half. I think the score at the halftime was like 21-7 or something like that. the second half, the offense just got it together. Gunnar Stockton started using his legs, got his arm, good receivers involved. Kobe Young, been waiting on him to make a splash play. He finally busted out to the scene. But other than that, though, I think the offense just rose to the occasion. Tennessee-wise, Joey Aguilar doing what he's been doing all season. I think he's made his mark. Got his name out there. Chris Braswell had a good game. 6 catches, 177 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dominant performance. Like I said, went exactly how I thought it would go, but UJ came out on top.
Yeah, that game was outright incredible. Both of those quarterbacks, Gunnar Stockton and Joey Aguilar, they had a lot of the fan bases, myself included, had a lot of mixed feelings going into this game about how they would perform. But I think it's safe to say both quarterbacks proved a lot of the doubters wrong. Joey Aguilar had 2 big-time interceptions that ended up being very costly, but was still very impressive overall. And Gunnar Stockton just went on to win SEC Offensive Player of the Week, so he definitely shut a lot of guys like myself up, at least for now. Another big-time game out of the SEC that a lot of people surprisingly have not been talking about is the Vanderbilt Commodores going in to Columbia, South Carolina to take down the South Carolina Gamecocks 31-7.
Yep.
Schrader, how did this happen?
The commies were just balling, bro. I mean, it was it was unreal, dude. I mean, the big reason that it happened was because Sellers got knocked out pretty early into the game. But, I mean, Vanderbilt, they're just playing downright good ball. I mean, Beamer ball is kind of on the struggle bus this year. They haven't been as impressive as we've wanted them to be. And Vanderbilt's quietly just been, handling business as Coach Lee does. I mean, in his time at Vanderbilt, he has slowly made them a better and better program. And you're really starting to see his vision come to fruition. I don't think I said that right. But it's doing that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's great to see Vanderbilt on the rise, finally ranked. But South Carolina's got some things to fix. They really got some loose ends that they need to tie up.
They definitely do.
No, one thing for Vanderbilt that I was seeing is their offensive play calling. I mean, they're having fun out there on the field. Maybe Diego Pavia's not launching it downfield. I mean, he only had 177 yards, and he was 18 for 25, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But they're running option plays to where he's fully turning around and ripping a full pass behind him. Like they're getting really, really creative over there and really making you guess. So it's really fun to see from their offensive play calls.
Yeah, and it is important to remember who the real winner of this game is, and that is Theo Vaughn, as he has been given a date with Diego Pavia's mother because Vanderbilt won that game. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Theo Vaughn's the real winner here.
Look, I don't know where Theo Vaughn
I don't know why he was at that game.
He was on the sideline.
I don't know when they made that bet, but I'm going to need into some of these gambling parties. I saw a picture of Diego Pavia's mom, and I wouldn't have mind winning that bet either. That's all I want to say. But to get back to the bigger picture of the SEC, though, Texas A&M Aggies also won a big-time game on the road in South Bend, taking down the Notre Dame Fighting Irish with a walk-off touchdown pass from Marcel Reed to win it 41-40. So when we talk about the SEC, it's all up in the air.
Yeah,
nobody knows what's going to happen.
Nope.
Florida's lost 2 straight games. LSU didn't even look impressive in their win against Florida. Alabama seems like they're starting to surge again, but people still aren't ready to forget about their loss to Florida State in Week 1. So when we look at the SEC picture as a whole, what can we make of it, John? What do you make of the SEC picture right now? Like, who would you say are the alpha dogs in this conference?
Ooh, who are the alpha dogs? Man, that was something I was not expecting right away. I mean, it was an interesting weekend. And really, I feel like I can't give you an alpha dog right now, even though I'd love to say Georgia due to all bias. But the one thing I want to say that impressed me is the quarterback from Ole Miss who ended up playing, what's his name? Chambliss. How do you say his first name? I just had it this morning. I think he's a better fit for the quarterback system compared to Austin Simmons. I don't like it at all. Or not. I don't like it at all, but I think he's a better fit. I think not that Austin is good.
Trinidad Chambliss.
Trinidad Chambliss.
I could not think of his first name.
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss making the transfer up from D2, basically the D2 Heisman. I think he's a much better fit. And then at the same time as well, just I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless on this one. It's a weird year, and I think Strader's got something more to say.
I mean, really all I have to say is I don't think there is a top dog in the SEC, which I think is the big change that we've seen. I mean, Georgia's good, a lot of question marks. Yeah. Are they going to just keep running the screen until somebody figures out how to stop it? Like, Zachariah Branch is great, but once somebody figures out how to stop that, it's kind of tough to run that offense.
They did stretch the ball. They did stretch the field a little bit in that Tennessee
game. That fourth quarter when Stockton hit, is it Humphreys? Yeah, London Humphreys. Down. I mean, that was great, but they're going to need more of that, and he's going to have to be able to step that up. But I mean, you look at Ole Miss, they look pretty solid.
They do.
they've had some close calls recently. Then you got LSU. I mean,
That's what I like.
DJ threw 5 picks and Florida only lost by 10 points.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not fully bought in on LSU's offense. And that's why, John, I want to apologize to you because I really asked you an impossible question.
Yeah.
There is no alpha dog in this
Not
conference,
at
at
all.
least not right now, because when you look at it,
Shoot, Missouri looks pretty darn good.
Missouri
too.
looks
Oklahoma
great.
looks great.
Missouri looks great. John Mateer in Oklahoma look very impressive.
A&M.
Nope.
A&M.
Texas A&M is right in the middle of it, and this time last week, we would have had South Carolina in this conversation.
Yep.
But they just got boat raced by Vandy, and Lenore Sellers is out, and we don't know for how long. So when you look at the SEC picture, it's really impossible to make a pick right now, which is fantastic to me because that just makes for entertaining college football games.
Darn right.
But then when you pivot to a different conference,
Yeah.
you go and look at the ACC.
Finally, we get
There
some
seems
love.
like there might be a few alpha dogs starting to rise up to the top of this conference, especially after Georgia Tech's very impressive performance against the Clemson Tigers, who they beat at home in Atlanta with the final score of 24-21 after a 55-yard walk-off field goal as time expired. Now that Clemson's out of the picture, they're 1-2. They're not out of the ACC picture totally, but for the sake of this conversation, we're going to push them out of it.
Yep.
You look at Georgia Tech, who's looked very impressive. They were a really good team last year. They're looking to break this Georgia Tech historic losing curse and really make some noise this year. But then you have Miami, who some might argue looks like the best team in college football right now. But don't forget about Florida State just because they're on a bye week, because they look darn impressive as well. So, Schrader, when we look at those top 3 teams, try to pull all your bias aside. I know you're a big-time Florida State fan.
Yeah.
But out of those 3 teams, who do you really feel like has the best chance of winning the ACC this year?
You know, I'm stuck between 2. I really, really like Georgia Tech, and I think Georgia Tech has the easiest path to the ACC championship and even to win it. But like you said, there's this little curse that Georgia Tech has where they stumble over themselves year in and year out.
Yep.
And I really want to say that they'll be able to break that curse this year, but I just don't feel like they will.
You know, Schrader, you said something to me last year, and I feel like it really applies in this situation. Georgia Tech is very good at snatching defeat out of the hands of victory.
You're darn right. Yeah, and I mean, it's true. I mean, look at that Georgia game. If Haynes King didn't fumble that ball last year, there'd be a lot of things different about how that season ended.
Yep.
But then you look at Miami and Florida State, and I personally think the ACC championship as of now is going to be a rematch between these two teams. Because aside from Miami, the toughest team that Florida State has is Clemson, who honestly I don't know how to feel about them this year. Because even in the game that they won against Troy, they did not look good, and they kept it close against an LSU team who we're figuring out might not be who we think they are. But I really like Miami and Florida State. To win it all, I need to see them play.
Now, just to run through the standings real quick, as of right now, Georgia Tech is sitting at the number 1 team in the ACC. I know we're only a couple weeks in, so this really doesn't matter. But when we look at it, Florida State and Miami aren't even in the top of those rankings right now because they have yet to play an ACC game. Exactly. They haven't played a conference game yet. But you still have NC State, who's currently undefeated.
Do not let NC State fly under your radar.
Okay.
That's all I got to say. I mean,
sell me on NC State real quick.
I mean, they got a really, really good quarterback, an established coach. Their defense is playing great, and their run game is really, really, really solid. And they were able to pull away from a somewhat weak Wake Forest team, but they walked into Wake Forest and they played a really good football game. And they ain't got the hardest schedule in the ACC either. So keep them on your radar, maybe a little outside of the bubble. But in coming years, they could make some noise in the ACC.
Now to pivot back to wide college football discourse, let's talk about the whole picture here. Keyshawn, a second ago, you said you're really bought in on LSU as of right now, and they currently sit at the number 3 team in the country. But I'm gonna be honest with you, after that game against Florida, I don't think I'm sold. So what is it about this LSU team that still has you buying stock?
Honestly, it's really just Garrett Nussmeier. I got real good faith in him. He's a Heisman candidate, potential top 10 NFL pick this upcoming season. I got real faith in him. His receivers core is pretty good. He has Aaron Anderson. Yeah. Does he still have C.J. Daniels?
Yes,
still has C.J. Daniels.
Yeah,
he has I like the team. I love what they're doing over there. It's just it's the self-inflicted wounds, like you said, against Florida. DJ throws 5 picks. You still only win by 10. You can't allow that to happen. You can't. You have to take advantage of those turnovers. If they get that down pack, I got them. Honestly, I got them winning the ACC, at least up there, at least between them and Georgia.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know how to feel about it. And like I said, isn't it impossible? You said, who do I like?
Who you like?
When I'm looking at the SEC picture and I'm thinking of teams that I really like, I am really bought in on Texas A&M. It's a team that I picked as my sleeper in the preseason. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I'm going to straight up pick them to win the entire thing, but that's exactly why. They have Mike Elko. Year 2 under him. Marcel Reed looks great. He missed a few big-time throws in this Notre Dame game that I see him hitting on later in the season. So when I look at A&M, I think they can be really well. He's developed as a passer. He's great as a rusher as well. Le'Veon Moss, Casey Concepcion. I really love that team. You cannot bet against Georgia, and that's not me even being a fan. It's just the fact. Look at what Kirby Smart's done. Last year was one of his toughest coaching jobs ever, and he still went out and won the SEC as a 2-loss team. You look at Alabama as well. I'm not ready to write them off either. They had a very tough loss against Florida State,
Right.
but I think Florida State just might be that good of a football team.
I like to hear that.
Because when you look at this Alabama team, man, they haven't even begun to tap into their potential. Ty Simmons. Dang, I almost said Simmons. Ty Simpson is really starting to tap into what he was coming out of high school as a recruit. He was a 5-star. Still got Ryan Williams, but I think Jeremy Bernard is probably the best receiver on this roster.
He was unreal, dude.
Dude, Jeremy Bernard is incredible. And him starting to surge is starting to take attention off guys like Ryan Williams, and also their transfer from Miami, whose name I'm currently blanking on.
Isaiah Horton.
Isaiah Horton
He's
is a darn good receiver as well.
Dog.
And we haven't even begun to talk about their running back room. So when you focus on that, the quarterback and that receiver core, I feel like you could argue outside of Ohio State, they might have the best receiver room in the country. So when you look at those 3 teams, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Alabama, those are my top 3 right now. But like John said, Ole Miss is still floating around out there.
I was about to say, what
Tennessee
if Kiffin
is
starts
still
winning
there.
the big games?
Exactly. Lane Kiffin could do it. I believe in Trinidad Chambliss. I believe he's the better quarterback on that roster. He was incredible, dominating the D2 ranks over the past 2 or 3 seasons, and he looked like a natural fit into that Lane Kiffin offense using his legs and his arm. So to answer your question, Keyshawn, I don't know. Like I said, it's wide open. It is an impossible question to answer. Let's go ahead and pivot into general sports. All right, here we go. We've talked a lot about football, but like my good friend Carly Perry used to say, shout out Carly. I know you're out there listening somewhere in Auburn.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace is crazy. Chuck is not dead. She's out there doing grad school in Auburn. She's doing a great job. I'm sure we'll see her in some way, shape, or form sometime soon. But this show is called Sports Pack. It's not called Football Pack. I know it's football season, so it's easy just to dive in and just keep talking about football, which I would love to do. If you want to hear more of that, maybe tune in to my show after this. But that's besides the point. There are more things going on. Schrader, I want to start with you.
Yeah.
Walk us through a little bit of what's been going on in the MLB these past couple weeks.
I mean, to be honest, I ain't been paying too much attention to the MLB over the last few weeks because of college football, but I can tell you to start paying attention to the MLB. I know college football kind of takes the spotlight, right? The MLB is what gets us through the summer, but once it does its job and college football is back, it knows its place. But we're getting into October. I mean, we'll be in October pretty soon, sooner than I realized, and that means the playoffs are coming around, and there's a lot of fun teams to watch. I mean, the Brewers have come out of what seems like nowhere this year and just absolutely balled out. The Mariners have a really fun team out there in Seattle. The Braves don't have a fun team in Atlanta, which I'm fine with. But I think the expert over here he's a little frustrated about that. But I mean, it's been a crazy season, and this might be the first season the MLB doesn't have a no-hitter in like 8 years. Which random pull, but I think that's a pretty cool stat. So if you're not watching the MLB, tune in a little bit because it's about to get real exciting.
Yeah, John, I know you worked up there in Truist Park the entire summer. You've been around this Braves team. And like Schrader said, the Braves aren't the greatest team, but you had the privilege of seeing some really good teams run through Truist Park on their road to beating the Braves. So tell us a few of those teams that you saw this summer, maybe just teams that you've just noticed from just being a fan of the game that you feel could turn some heads coming in October.
I would say the Mariners for sure. I love the Big Dumper and Cal Raleigh. I mean, that dude is a slug. Big Dumper was a really fun guy to watch, especially when I was there in the All-Star break working it. And I mean, look, I can't give you a team right now. I mean, the Cubs actually. Let me give some Cubs some love. They've been playing pretty well. But the thing is don't you mouth that at me. I heard what you said.
Saying.
No,
they're a good team.
I don't.
Who are we saying here?
Phillies.
Phillies? Say it a little louder.
Is that what you said?
Say it a little louder. Say it with your chest, John.
Let us know what team y'all are alluding to.
They rolled through Truist.
I know they rolled through Truist, but I'd rather go with the Mariners on this one.
The Philadelphia Phillies.
Darn right.
I'll say it for you. But keep going about the Mariners.
No, I mean, it's just simple as, I mean, I'm really bought on Cal Raleigh. That's the thing. I mean, that's what and then they also have, what's his name? I'm forgetting. They traded back for him. Has over 30 home runs this season.
Eugenio Suarez.
Thank you. Yes, you have them. Yes, Suarez also as well. But I just want to say for the Braves, it sucks losing your best pitchers. It sucks when your team can't hit. And Michael Harris, you were a little late to the ball this year, so thanks.
They're spending about $260-something million for this season.
Yeah. Thanks.
Now to move on from baseball, there's still some basketball being played as well as the WNBA playoffs, have recently gotten started. Your Atlanta Dream will be in action on ESPN tonight as they take on the Atlanta Fever, the Indiana Fever in Game 2 of the first round of playoffs. Atlanta took Game 1, but Game 2 is looking to be a very exciting matchup. Even though Caitlin Clark is out for the rest of the season, the Indiana Fever still have a lot of big-time players led by their center, Aaliyah Boston, who was outright dominant at South Carolina. Has continued to show flashes of that dominance in the WNBA, especially this season. It's really showing that once Caitlin Clark is back on this Indiana Fever team, they're really going to be able to take that next step because she makes all the players around her better, especially Aaliyah Boston. So Game 2 of that game will be live. That is actually tomorrow night. I misspoke. It'll be live tomorrow night at 7:30 on ESPN. And right after that game, the Aces host the Seattle Storm. The Aces are currently leading that series 1-0, led by their superstar, Asia Wilson, who everybody knows is by far one of the best players in the WNBA, one of the better players that we've seen roll through that league. The Vegas Aces are currently leading that series 1-0 as well. That is bound to be a very good game. Now, before we move on, is there anything anybody else would like to put into this WNBA corner? Because I do have one more stat I just wanted to throw out there before we moved on. It's actually a fairly interesting stat in my opinion. This WNBA season, like I said, the playoffs just got started, record-breaking WNBA season, largely because of big-time stars like Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese. But another big-time storyline this season is the success of their new expansion team, the Golden State Valkyries. It is their first year being a team in the WNBA, and they found their way into the playoffs. It's kind of crazy to think about that. Yep. An expansion team making the playoffs in their first year of existence is pretty wild.
I mean, it's like the Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL. Their first season, they went to the Cup final, which is unbelievable to think about, but it's really impressive to see the Valkyries do this.
Nah, it seriously is. Now, one quick reminder before we move on, Westwoods has a fur-friendly environment and a convenient location close to work, as well as a tanning bed and a gaming lobby amenities. Shirt, I know earlier today you came up to me saying that you felt a little pale, so why don't you swing on over to Westwoods, express some interest in the application so you can get to use their tanning bed.
It's the life of a ginger, bro.
Exactly. So, I would know. So, for more information, go to Live Westwoods on Instagram. That is at Live Westwoods on Instagram for more information.
Yeah, and in a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why Wolf Sports Networks and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign is here to remind you that there is no drinking under the age of 21. Never drink and drive, even if it's one beer, and add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits.
I almost just choked on spit. Now stay tuned because we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, we're going to unpack this insane NFL weekend and make our game picks for this Monday Night Football doubleheader. Don't miss out. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network. Stay locked. You're listening to Sports Pack right here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
This season, everything changes. I'm the only one who came back, and honestly, I might regret it.
Josh Allen might just be the best athlete the NFL has ever seen.
Spencer Strider is an elite closer posing as an ace.
D Rose is the most overrated player of all time.
One vet, all new voices, hot takes, wild debates, and zero chill. Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket debuts this fall, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Ian's freestyle went big. But we're gonna go bigger.
Dang, it's my first season. I feel like a star. I be dropping hot takes. I speak real bizarre. How many views we gonna get? I'd say about 1 mil. Out of Pocket Season 6. We got zero chill. Tune in to Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket. Wednesdays at 6 on Wolf Sports Network.
Welcome to the Boring Sports Show, where we only bring the most boring sports takes. Who are you?
I am Hot Takes Man, and I defend the world from boring sports shows like yours. Another day's work for Hot Takes Man. Citizen, if you want to save yourself from boring sports content, then tune in to Sports Out of Pocket, Wednesdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
Sports Out of Pocket has a brand new showtime.
Yeah.
But what time is it at?
I don't know.
It's not 5 to 6.
Uh-huh.
It's not 7 to 8.
Uh-huh.
It's 6, 7. Wolf Sports Network.
In 2023, the Georgia Governor's Office stated 21% of adults have low literacy skills. The U.S. Department of Education reports that children with access to print reading materials have better literacy rates. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network's ongoing book drive will provide a new or gently used book to every child at UWG's Pre-K Monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwgradio.com/book drive. That's thewolfuwgradio.com/book drive.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty.
You know what I got to start off for this NFL segment. Your hometown Atlanta Falcons
Get us going.
had a very impressive game last night. Some would say it was boring, but it was a special teams coordinator's dream come true.
Yeah, you took that from me.
I know I took it from you. That's why I looked at you when I said
go.
it. But it was the perfect way to start off this segment. The Atlanta Falcons went into Minnesota and took down the Minnesota Vikings with a score of 22-6, led by 143 rushing yards from running back Bijan Robinson and a dominant performance from that Jeff Ulbrich-led defense. Now, John, I want to start off with you.
What's up?
What impressed you the most about the Atlanta Falcons in this big-time NFC win against the Vikings?
Well, they there's a lot of firsts last night, and they posted about it. Parker Romo, 5 for 5 last night. James Pierce Jr., career sack. Dolores, career sack. Sack for Flo. Career sack.
I'm going to pause you there for 1 second. Who the heck is Romo? Because you didn't disclose
Parker Romo.
That's a weird way to say Young Wei Koo.
Yeah, you got to get a little more specific because these are a lot of new names.
Yes, we signed Parker Romo as of last week from Young Wei Koo's horrible performance in Week 1, and he went 5 for 5 against his former team that he was absolutely terrible for, and it seems like this might be the answer for the season. He might have a roster spot with us, but we'll have to see what Young Wei Koo's
Those
doing.
are the extra details we need.
Yes.
So start that list over with those extra details.
All right, Falcons field goal for Parker Romo, our new kicker. Career sack for rookie James Pierce Jr. Career sack for Dolores. I do not know anything about you. Sorry. We had more sacks on the night from Flo, Jalen Walker, our rookie, and from Rook, and then also career interceptions for Billy Bowman Jr. and Xavier Watts. That's another thing, and you see it in our title. Defense was flying across the field, and we got sacks last night. Sack. Simple as that.
Isn't it crazy? And I don't know if Terry Fontenot's ever going to listen to this. Isn't it crazy what happens when a defense has good edge rushers?
Trying to tell you.
I feel like there's something that's been missing from this defense that we've been telling Fontenot to fix for about 3 years.
Something we screamed about, maybe?
And it took him a little bit, but now you're seeing what happens when you have effective edge rushers, good interior defensive linemen, linebackers that can do their job, and a good secondary. I mean, this secondary was without A.J. Terrell for a little bit, and they were still balling. So on the defensive side of the ball, Ulbrich, he has this team going. The offense has a little bit of work to do, but Bijan did enough.
Yeah, Bijan did enough. That was what impressed me the most was the run game. 20 rush yards of the night. Bijan alone had about 150, 70 for Algier. He also had the game-winning touchdown towards the end of the game as well. So that what impressed me the most. Like you said, the defense, the DBs look absolutely amazing. Billy Bowman looked good. He had I think he had the crazy interception. I think it was one of the DBs. Landed on the back. That was a crazy pick. Xavier Watts, I mean, he's looking like a Pro Bowler already.
Oh my gosh,
he's such a stud. He's such a stud. I wish AJ would have played the whole game. I really love AJ. He's one of my favorite DBs that I like to study.
After that hamstring injury.
Yeah, he might be out next week. I don't know. I got to see the
I
update
think
on
for
him.
right now, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here. Might be out for next week.
And looking forward to next week. That is another division game against the Carolina Panthers. That's a game the Falcons must win, especially after starting 0-1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 1. But this is a great game to build off of. If you would have told me that you went to see a fortune teller and she started going on that glass magic 8 ball or whatever it is they use in the center of the table, she pulled out a Ouija board and says, yes, the spirits are telling me the Atlanta Falcons will not score a touchdown until the 4th quarter against the Minnesota Vikings, I probably would have broke down in tears.
Hey man, a win is a win though.
Because in my eyes, if you would have told me that last week, I would have thought we got dominated in that game just like we did last year against the Minnesota Vikings. But this Falcons team went out and they were very impressive. Like you said, the offense kind of sputtered, didn't score our first touchdown until the 4th quarter. But last week we saw that same offense soar. We saw the passing game look very impressive with Michael Penix. So as long as that defense stays strong, I'm very confident that this offense will get its legs under itself again. They went up against a very talented Brian Flores-led defense and was still very dominant in the run game. I trust Penix's arm. I really think that passing game is going to come back around.
Remind me what wins championships?
Defense.
There we go.
I'll tell you. And what do they have? 6 sacks total, 4 or 5 in the first half?
I'm not going to lie. I felt pretty bad for J.J. McCarthy throughout this
I
game.
didn't.
Because as much as you can look at his performance and say, like, that was dog crap, about 80% of that performance was on the offensive line, especially that backup center. I don't think that McCarthy got a good snap in the second half.
Yeah, he may not have, and like you said, his offensive line really struggled, and that led to this Falcons defense dominating and shining. And J.J. McCarthy went 11 for 21 with 2 interceptions and 158 receiving yards. I think it's safe to say that was his welcome to the NFL moment. Now, to go ahead and segue here, I want to ask you all a quick little trivia question.
What's up?
Who leads the AFC in passing yards as of right now after week 2? Schrader, I don't like the look on your face, so I'm going to go to you last.
Okay.
Keyshawn, you got a guess? Who leads the AFC conference in passing yards?
I think I might have.
Let me see. Who's been balling?
Anybody just jump in here with some guesses. John?
Danny Dimes?
That's
Daniel Jones. I still let you go, but I could tell by that smirk. I could tell by that smirk you were going to get it.
I can't help it. It just happens.
And that's right. If you've lived under a rock, Daniel Jones is now the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, and he leads the AFC in passing yards with 588 over the first 2 weeks of the season, leading the 2-0 Indianapolis Colts over a big time in a big time win against a Broncos team who I would say has probably one of the better defenses in the NFL. Danny Dimes balled out, was 23 for 34, 316 passing yards, and 1 interception. But I'm not here to talk about Daniel Jones. I'm here to talk about these other quarterbacks in the AFC. Quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, who have had a very slow start to their season. The Chiefs have now started off 0-2 after a very disappointing loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, who used a tush push against them 5 times in the 4th quarter and 7 quarters.
So brutal.
Yeah, and 7 times throughout the entire game.
That is so brutal.
To beat the Kansas City Chiefs in a sleepover. I mean, it was a very slow game. The Kansas City Chiefs offense was never able to get anything going. Patrick Mahomes ended the game 16 for 29, 187 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked twice.
He led the team in rushing.
He did lead the team in rushing with 66 rushing yards, but it still was not enough. And the Kansas City Chiefs are currently sitting at 0-2. They haven't started off 0-2 since 2014. So I'm going to ask a very simple question. Are the Chiefs cooked?
I don't know if they're cooked, but I wouldn't say that they're not panicking.
Right.
They're not. I don't think that. There's no reason to panic, but they're also. They're not. They don't have Rashee Rice, and then obviously Xavier Worthy's injured due to Travis Kelce week 1.
Non-existent run game.
Yeah, exactly. So there's maybe a couple things missing, but I don't know if you want to write them off just yet. Maybe their Mahomes magic will come back alive.
Keyshawn, you still buying in on the Chiefs? Would you pick them to go to the Super Bowl as of right now?
No.
Oh, absolutely not.
Nah. Not Super Bowl contenders. I wouldn't write them off though. I still want to write them off though. Not yet. It's too early.
I feel like they're one of those teams that just always ends up in contention. Yeah.
It's the Chiefs.
They're just there. They just pull up.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to take a look at their next few games here. Next week, they go on the road to take on the New York Giants, who look very impressive against the Cowboys, but I'm not sure if that's going to be sustainable over multiple weeks, especially after an inspired Chiefs team.
And they
still
still
looking for their first win. Exactly. And they still lost to the Cowboys. So I expect the Chiefs to win that game. It's a primetime Sunday night football game. But then they go they're at home against the Baltimore Ravens. They go to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. And then they go back home to take on the Detroit Lions in another Sunday night football game. So they get a mixed bag here. A few big-time contenders, a few teams like the Giants and the Jaguars who you can kind of chalk up early wins for them. But when you look at this Chiefs team, like y'all are saying, I can't say I'm just going to confidently pick them to represent the AFC in the playoff.
Absolutely
because
not.
we haven't seen much from them. Maybe as the year goes on, when they start to get more healthy and guys like Rashee Rice come back from suspension and Xavier Worthy comes back from his injury, perhaps they get a little bit better, but they still have not been able to run the football. And when you look at the rest of the AFC, the Bills
at their
are looking
division.
great.
Don't
Exactly.
even look at the AFC.
You're right. Look at their
division. Because Herbie over there in LA, rip San Diego, I mean, they're looking really good, and I'm really excited for that game tonight just to kind of see how Harbaugh can get this offense going and if they can continue what they did in Brazil against the Chiefs.
You're 100% right. Like you said, within their division, it gets difficult. But then the rest of the AFC, you look at teams like the Ravens. You look at the Bills. You look at the Colts being led by Daniel Jones. The rest of the AFC is starting to rise to the occasion. If I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I know our team's going to be solid. We have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes, one of the more talented quarterbacks we've seen of all time in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, two great coaches. When this team is healthy, they're going to look good. But I wouldn't just assume the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be playing late into January because of how good the rest of the AFC has became. But I do want to look at another team here that, unlike years past, has started off kind of fast. They're sitting at 2-0, but disaster struck yesterday afternoon as Joe Burrow went down early in the game for the Cincinnati Bengals with a toe injury. Originally, I was thinking, okay, he's going to sit out the rest of this game. They're playing against Jacksonville. Jake Browning will win it for them. But then it was announced this morning that his turf toe will require surgery, and he will be out for 3 months.
That's a little bit of time.
Joe Burrow's missed a lot of time over the course of his career. You can blame the Cincinnati Bengals O-line that has been terrible every year of his career, including that year when they played the Rams in the Super Bowl. Their offensive line was terrible. But nonetheless, he is out for essentially the rest of the season. You missed 3 months. That's the majority of the season. Keyshawn, I want to start with you. If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, what are you going to do? You invested so much money into this offense and re-signing players like Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson on this defense to win now. What sorts of moves are you going to try to make to try to replace Joe Burrow's production?
At this point, I think the smartest move to do is try to find a veteran quarterback at this point. I don't know how confident they are in Jake Browning. I know I'm not pretty high on him.
He threw
I'm pretty sure
nobody's
pretty high on him. So at this point, it is what it is at this point. You're not going to have him for maybe 90% of the season. So at this point, try to find you a veteran QB and just try to rock out throughout the season. Maybe come back next year, and hopefully everybody's healthy. But for right now, it's not looking too good in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, there's really two things that the Bengals can do here. One, hit up the Browns. I heard they got a little bit of a surplus of quarterbacks on that roster.
Yeah.
See if you can go get like Joe Flacco to bridge something, and then that would open up the Shador spot if they don't start Gabriel above him. And then the other thing you could do is start praying a lot and praying hard.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, Schrader, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it. There's one other team. There's a team that will be on my short list of teams to hit up for a quarterback because the Browns, they put in Dylan Gabriel at the end of that game against the Ravens. They're seeing that Joe Flacco is not going to get them through the entire season.
No.
A blind man could have saw that coming. So we're going to see Shador and Dylan Gabriel start to get reps over these next few weeks. But if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm looking at this roster. We're in win-now mode. Trey Hendrickson was looking for the door, find a way to re-sign him. The defense looks improved. It's a serviceable defense. When you have an offense this potent, you can plug in just about any quarterback, no matter what stage of their career they may be in. You saw Jake Browning throw the ball to Jamar Chase 14 times yesterday for 165 yards. You got T. Higgins out there that can make anybody look good at quarterback. I could go out there and throw 3 touchdowns. I'm throwing to those two guys right there. So if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm picking up the phone, and the first 3 numbers I'm down is 404. I'm going straight to Atlanta to try to hit up the Falcons to put together a deal to get Kirk Cousins. Now, I know the Falcons want to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup to Michael Penix, but at this point, if I'm a Cincinnati Bengals, I'm throwing anything I can at the Falcons, and because they pretty much have to. So I'd go out, get Kirk Cousins, a guy that has shown that he has a really good arm. He might be on the tail end of his career, but I promise you he's a better option than Jake Browning.
Definitely.
Bengals. And with two receivers like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, that'll be the best receiving core Kirk Cousins has ever been around. Chase Brown at running back. They got some good play callers out there. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm on the phone with the Falcons right now.
You know, I don't hate that, and the only reason I wouldn't say that is because of the contract that Kirk's got.
Yep.
There's a lot of money tied up there, and they're paying Burrow a pretty heavy sum.
Very true.
I thought you were going to say hit up Jerry and see if they're willing to ship Milton.
That's not a bad option either.
It's not a bad option
Milton
because
would
that's
not be a
another
bad
guy that has a
option.
lot of upside. One, if he's just good, he might. I mean, I don't think he'd ever be better than Burrow.
Oh, no.
But
you could maybe trade him later on.
you could flip him 100%.
Yeah, John, if you were John Howley, you're the new GM for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh.
What are you doing? Are you just punting on the season? You go into the corner and crying and just praying Jake Browning can get it done? Or are you going to make a move?
I mean, I think you're gonna have to kind of wait it out because the only thing I'm seeing is you have a young offensive line. You have Amarius Mims, Dylan Fairchild, both from Georgia, one in their rookie year, one in their second year. Orlando Brown, not that he's proven to be good, but I mean, I feel like the only things you can do, you have to find a way to go sign some veteran linemen and rotate those guys in because clearly this is not the cut.
It's going to be very interesting to see what the Cincinnati Bengals do. I believe the best course of option is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Joe Milton is not a bad option.
Imagine
either.
that Milton to Jamar, bro.
Dude, that'd be
just on a
incredible.
go. Just spam that junk. Spam 4 verts. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. Joe
That's a grown
Milton,
man's
just
dream.
keep giving those guys a chance. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they're going to come down with half of those balls. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Cincinnati, but I think it is in their best interest to make some kind of move. Now we need to move on to this Monday Night Football doubleheader, starting off with the Buccaneers and the Texans. But before we make our game picks, John, remind the people of our policy. Sports Pack and Wolf Sports Network are not liable for any financial losses that may occur due to using our picks outside of the show. These are just our opinions. Don't blame us. Blame the players.
Always remember that.
Exactly. Now that we've covered all our tracks, let's get started. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. The Buccaneers are currently favored, but just a 1-point favorite here on ESPN.com. It's going to be a very interesting game. The Texans have a dynamic defense, but we know Baker Mayfield and this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense can also be incredible as well. They also have a very strong pass rush, and C.J. Stroud and the guys don't have the best offensive line in the NFL. So, John, I want to start with you. Who you got and why? Make it quick.
I'm going to roll with the Buccaneers on this one. We saw what they did to us last week. It's Baker Mayfield clutch and Emeka Mbuka. And, once I know Chris Godwin's not playing, but, remember that he exists. And I'm telling you, the Buccaneers can be something special this year.
Yeah, I like the Buccaneers. I mean, Baker's my quarterback in fantasy, so I'd love to pick the Buccaneers, and I hope he has a great game. I just don't know if I see this Texans team going 0-2 to start the season, especially with this game being at home. I think it's going to be a big tone setter for the rest of their season. I think C.J. Stroud and the boys, hopefully Nico Collins, are going to have a great game.
I just want to say not seeing a team going 0-2 to start off the season was my reasoning for picking Notre Dame, and you see how that played out for me. I just want to remind you of that.
I don't learn.
All right, Keyshawn's on you.
I'm gonna have to go with John with the Bucks here. I like the Tampa Bay Bucks given the injuries that the Houston Texans have. C.J. Stroud still hasn't played up to that rookie season yet. So honestly, Baker's looked good. Baker's been looking good since he's landed in Tampa Bay. So I got to give them the edge on this one.
I'm going against the two of you right here, and I'm rolling with my guy Schrader, but not for the same reason. I could see the Texans going off 0-2, but I think they start off 1-1.
You're only saying that because of Notre Dame.
I'm only saying that because of Notre Dame. You're 100% correct. But the Texans' defense is incredible. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson on the edge are enough to give any quarterback nightmares. I know Baker Mayfield has had little sleep between State Farm commercials leading up to this game, but also their secondary. Jalen Petrie, Derek Stingley, and Kamari Lassiter are incredible. You still got that guy Bullard floating around out there in the secondary as well. And the Falcons had a lot of missed opportunities to create turnovers against Baker Mayfield in last week's game. I think this borderline best pass rush in the league from the Houston Texans will put a lot of pressure under Baker Mayfield and force a few bad decisions. I think they still score a lot of points. I think it's a very entertaining game, but I got the Texans defense being the big-time edge in this game. Now for the late night 10 p.m. game, the doubleheader is a 7 p.m. game and a 10 p.m. game, so right when Sports Pack comes off, cut on the Buccaneers and the Texans.
About to crack ourselves, boys.
We got the L.A. Chargers going on the road to the Sin City to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to reverse the order. Keyshawn, it's on you. Who you got?
I got to go with the Chargers, man. I like Herbert a lot. He gets a lot of heat for not being, I guess you want to call it, a playoff quarterback. But, I mean, in week 1, he looked amazing. Over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Pretty efficient. Only missing on 9 targets. I got to go with them, give them the edge on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a gut feeling here because I know that the Chargers are a better team than the Raiders, but something in my mind's telling me this Raiders team, prime time, Pete Carroll out there on the sideline chewing his gum. I just have a feeling that they're just going to have one heck of a day. Now, in the long term, I think the Chargers are better. I'm just going to go the Raiders because I feel like it.
That's valid.
Not mad at it.
Full mass for Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Oh, my God. I'm moving off him as fast as I can.
Unbelievable.
But straight up, I like what you said right there. I love Pete Carroll. I love Chip Kelly. I love this new look Raiders team. Ashton Genty is a dog. Brock Bowers is probably the best tight end in all of football.
Definitely.
And I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. I think Geno puts up some pretty good numbers, and I think it's a lot more competitive than people think. But I'm still going to roll with the Chargers here. I think they have the better team overall. I like to see big games from guys like Quentin Johnston and Trey Harris to go along with Ladd McConkey. Keenan Allen looked really good last week. It seems like being back in L.A. and that powder blue is starting to revitalize his career. I trust this Chargers team, and I think they're going to show a lot of people this weekend in a very entertaining game why they should be looked at as a real deal contender in this AFC playoff picture. So I'm rolling with the Bolts right here. Now, that's all the time we got for Sports Pack tonight. Before we go, I want to remind you that that when it comes to fandom, nothing matters more than the fit. The logo you wear solidifies your love. And now you can be a Wolf Sports Network fanatic with our brand new merch store powered by Osier Apparel. Visit wolfsportsnetwork.com and click About and then hit that merch store button. That is wolfsportsnetwork.com. Hit About and then click merch store to get anything you could dream of to represent your love for Wolf Sports Network. Now, I appreciate all of you for tuning into the show tonight. And do not forget, we are live Mondays and Thursdays. So be sure to show up, show out, show some love, send the show out to a friend if you enjoyed it. And also, DM us on Instagram if you want to get in on the fun because call-ins are back starting this Thursday. So if you know a cast member, text us personally or text us on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network after you give us a follow and let us know that you want to get in on the action. That's all the time we got for tonight. I'm Richard Reed signing off for Cadence Grievin, Keyshawn Ward, Jackson Schrader, and John Howley. I don't know how I almost forgot his name. I've known him for like 3 years.
You've only sat next to him for 2 years.
Thanks for listening to Sports Back. Have a blessed night.
Toodles.